Hi, this is James from the Hornbill Technical Support Team, and this is a short tutorial to show you how to configure Autoresponder for the email authorizations. So this is purely for customer authorizations, so if you wish to set up analyst authorizations, it's usually advised to set this up using a link to the call through using the actual main client itself or the web client. For customers, you can use a self-service portal, or you can also use this method here through email automation. So this is done in 4 steps. The first step is to set up the BPM process. So I'm going to take you to that. So this is come in from ITSM 3.4.x. I'm using the 7.5 client here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to go to the process, so File, Manage Settings, Process Settings. For this one I'm going to set up a service process. So this has got 3 very simple stages. There's going to be other tutorials for the actual BPM processes, but I'm going to go through these quickly just purely for this setup. So I'm going to go to the Authorization tab, and within here I'm going to allow for authorizers to be added on the fly, because this is how we're going to add our customer records in. Within the Settings tab, there is an option here for customer authorizations can be submitted via email. Please ensure that is ticked, and ensure that you have your when authorized set status to authorized, or rejected is rejected. So that's everything from the business process point of view. Obviously, just one other thing is just ensure that your customer template is selected here, so you've got your mailbox and the customer template, otherwise it just won't send out an email. So the second stage is to set up the rights on the customer, and setting the a value to true within the general settings. So within the customer properties, I'm just going to take you to my test customer here. So I've just granted all email rights possible for this particular customer, and within the general settings, which is File, Manage Settings, General Settings, you'll have System Settings. When choosing BPM from the drop-down list, there is an option here, BPM authorization email allow for customers. So by default this is false, you'll need to set this to true. Once you've done that, please refresh the data dictionary. And now we'll move on to step 3, setting up the autoresponder rule. So if you've had experience with the autoresponder rules in the past, or if you've gone through the other tutorials that we've uploaded for setting up a log call or update rule, it's very similar in terms of from the SupportWorks server configuration. You need to ensure that your email routing rules first of all is set up so it will accept your reply. From your email autorespond tab, as you can see here, I've added a new rule which uses the AR authorize function. So I clicked on new, I added in the name AR authorize, which got me to this particular stage here. I've been very lenient in terms of what the condition is to check against the subject. If you don't have any experience with these autorespond rules or what conditions are or what it's matching with, I suggest you have a look at the other videos first. Basically this is looking for the word authorize in the subject to be able to match with this rule. Now it's important that these settings on the right hand side here are exactly how this is here. This just ensures that it matches with the correct rights. I'm going to move on to the OK Action tab. Again, these need to be in this particular order as well to match with the actual VPME script rule. You can see here that it's looking for the call ref in the subject, line 0, which will be the first line, and word 2, which would actually be the third word because it starts from 0 again. So it's looking for the call ref as the third word, and it's looking for your decision as the fourth word. Okay, so you may wish to pause at this stage and set up this particular screen. In the fail action, I've just used the usual AR request fail, which will just send an email back to the end user and say, sorry, this has not been updated. Okay, so that's all you need to do for the autoresponder rules itself, just to make it match. So what I'm going to do now is log a call and test it out. You'll see that in my contact here I included my personal email address, so it will send out an email to that address. I'll reply to authorize it, and then we'll take it from there. So I'll just put in my test account. In fact, I've subscribed it to Alan Castle. Okay, so I'm just going to log the call here. Again, the actual end user, or this customer details here, doesn't actually need to match the people who's authorizing it either. So you can select as many authorizers as you like. It obviously isn't going to match the person here. I've only selected this person here because I subscribed it to this particular service. So I'm just going to log and accept that. Open up the call. So now, because we ticked the BPM on the fly authorizers, I'm going to select the authorizer type of customer. I'm also going to select the customer from the list here. So I'm going to select my test customer. I'm going to set the weighting to 100. So as soon as I click on add record here, this is going to send me an email with the authorization template. We'll be able to see that from the sent items. There we go. This is just the out-of-the-box template, but again, you can change this as you require. This can be quite important because obviously the subject needs to match perfectly. As I said before, the reference number needs to be the third word, and the decision needs to be the fourth word. So you may wish to design this to help out with that particular process. Okay, so I'm just going to pause the video while I just get up the email, and I'll wait for the email. Okay, so now we have the email that's been received from my test server. What I'm going to do is, because you're now the person that needs to authorize it, I'm just going to reply to this account. Obviously the subject is very important and depends on what the person enters in here is the decision that it's going to make in terms of authorization or rejection. So I'm just going to type in authorize. Then I'm just going to copy the reference number, because remember that needs to be third word, then authorize. Okay. So the question mark could be any word, because it doesn't really matter the question mark. Remember, the actual autoresponder rule is looking for the word authorize in the subject, so that needs to be in there. The call reference number needs to be the third word, and the decision needs to be the last word. So if it was a rejection, I would have typed in here reject. But for this particular one, I'm just going to do authorize. So I'm just going to send that. I'll reopen the server here, and you'll remember this from one of the previous tutorials. I'm just going to prompt email coming through. There we go. So you can see that just moved across there. You can see that's just been authorized, and that's moved on to the next stage. So you're actually seeing that in progress there. So that's moved on. The rules been matched absolutely fine. So it's a bit of a kerfuffle setting up all the emo templates correctly and replying correctly and the autoresponder correctly. But when done correctly, you know, it can be a really, really handy tool. Any questions, let me know, or if you had any problems, again, yeah, please let us know.